Hello and welcome to an original Eurostep Podcast Network YouTube production. I'm Ty Windish, one of the hosts of the Eurostep Podcast here at GSPN, and I thought it could be fun today on a Friday, be a little more loose with it, to do one of these tier list videos that are so popular, but my spin on it, of course, after the Pat Connaughton arc during the playoff run, is most to least likely to get their jersey retired of the current Bucks, plus PJ. We got PJ in there too. But done deal, a few good years away, not necessarily a championship, just, playing out the contract maybe. A key role on another title team away. If the Bucks aren't a dynasty, it isn't happening. And even if the Bucks are a dynasty, it isn't happening. And let's build some suspense. Put this guy last. We'll get to Pat later. Let's do TA first. Thanasis it was announced this morning, Friday morning, by Woj that Thanasis signed a new 2-year deal. Not exactly a shock, given the day before Yogoris Kalaitzakis had basically said he's excited to play with Giannis and Thanasis. I think we all expected this, but Thanasis is a tough one for me. Clearly not there yet. No. Oh, man. To get his jersey retired, Thanasis Antetokounmpo. Oh, this is tough. What do you need to be? Why did I start with such a hard one? Would he need to be on a dynasty for Thanasis to get his jersey retired? I think so. I don't think if they win one more and he's like a seventh man, no, I don't think so. I think if there's a dynastic run and Thanasis is very involved, then we can talk about the jersey retirement. Bobby Portis, I'm going to go one above, a key role on another title team. I don't think he's a few good years away yet. I could be wrong. If they go to a couple conference finals, maybe they go to a finals. I don't know. I think given that he didn't play in the closing games of the Brooklyn series, he's only been on the team for a year. I feel like they would probably need to win another one with Bobby for him to be in that jersey retirement conversation. And obviously not just on the roster, right? Not a Jeff Teague or Bryn Forbes role, but more like his role in the Suns series. If he closes out another finals, I think it gets tough to argue. So that's my thought on Bobby Portis. Brook Lopez. I really need to think about Brook Lopez. Let me share my thought process. Either here or here. They don't need to win another one, I don't think, for Brook to be worthy of jersey retirement. This is tough. This is a hard one. Jeez. I'm going to do done deal. No, I'm going to do a few good years away. I think he needs to play. If he plays out his contract, I think he has 2 years left. Another contract would be great, but climb up all the leaderboards a bit, the Bucks stat leaderboards, win a bunch more regular season games, probably a few playoff series. I don't think they'll need to win a title, but I think 2 more strong years of Brook Lopez. He's been one of the 3 most important players of the Budenholzer era. Bud's on here too. I know he doesn't wear a number, but I don't know. I thought it'd be fun. But I don't think Brook is that far off. I don't know. If they traded him today, is his jersey retired? I don't think so. But I think if he plays 5 years with the Bucks, plus the title run, plus, he was the key to their revamped defense, the biggest player addition when they got really good in that first year with Bud. I'm going to say a few good years away, but close. Probably the closest of anyone who's going to end up in that tier. Bryn Forbes, even if they are a dynasty, I don't see it. He's not even on the team anymore. I think that's the big thing, right? You assume he'd have to come back. I think they'd have to wait a full year. Maybe they wouldn't. Maybe they could trade for him in the middle of the year. But I don't remember how that CBA rule works. But just no. Just no. It's tough to put him a tier below Thanasis, but Thanasis is still here. He's played more years with the Bucks than Bryn. He's Giannis's brother, which helps him in Bucks stuff. I can't see a world. Like, what would have to happen for Bryn Forbes' jersey to be? He comes back, suddenly he can play defense, maybe? Or he doesn't shoot Dirk fadeaways? I don't know. I don't see it. I don't think Bryn Forbes is going to get there. Budenholzer, a few good years away. And I don't know what this means for him. I probably should have figured it out before I put him on this. Like, I don't think they'll retire. I mean, some franchises do put up, like a microphone for a broadcaster. The Bucks will certainly, if there was Jim Paschke, he'd be up here. They'll certainly do that for him, I think, without actually taking a number out of service. But I guess just put it being, I don't know, do the Bucks do this for any of their coaches? I don't know. But I guess just thinking more about it in terms of what this means, I think it's hard to separate him all that much from Brook. I think Brook was better relative to expectations across his Bucks tenure, but they came in at the same time, tightly interwoven defensively, of course. I mean, Bud helped establish Brook as the defensive force that he is. I think winning a title in Milwaukee kind of makes his legacy as a coach unimpeachable. But if he wins another one, then we'll really be in good shape. But yeah, I don't know what that even means for Bud. So we'll just stick him next to Brook. I think that makes sense. Dante Divincenzo. This is going to be seen as maybe petty, as maybe a hot take. I don't think he's anywhere close right now. Like I just don't think it's unfortunate. It's not his fault necessarily. But he only plays in the first round against Miami in the playoff series. Hasn't played a whole lot of regular season games, even because of injuries. Contract is up after this year. Again, the Bucks would have to do some Warriors stuff and win like 3 out of 4. And Dante would actually have to be starting throughout those playoff runs, I think. But right now, I don't see it. I don't think we're all that close for Dante. So... And part of this, I am weighing in, like I did this with Bryn a little bit too, is like, what are the odds that they're even here for long enough? I think that has to matter. So like, maybe Portis is a step closer because he re-upped pretty obviously with the intention to stay long term. Bryn doesn't even play on the team anymore. Dante may stick around after his contract, may not even play out his contract in Milwaukee. We'll see. So... I think we're far away off from Dante. I don't see that as very likely. This might be the hardest one. It's one of these two. Obviously has made great contributions to the franchise, but missed the first title run. I don't know if one more is enough. If he plays 2 more years in Milwaukee and wins one, no, I think they'd have to be a dynasty. It's not that hard. I feel good about it. I love George Hill. Big George Hill guy. Don't think he's all that close right now. I think there would have to be a dynasty in play. It sucks that he missed it. So this is like the tier of, I mean, not really. TA is a different, but these two guys of like, whether it's injury or not being traded for Drew Holiday, they missed the title. So it's like, sucks, but it makes it harder to get your jersey retired. Grayson Allen. I'm just going to skip Giannis for now. Grayson Allen, this is tough. I can't see it. I can't see it even if they are a dynasty. I guess I could. I mean, he could be the starting 2 guard, but you know what? No, if they're a dynasty, Grayson might have a shot. Because with Dante's injury, he's not going to be ready to start the season, it seems. Does Grayson get the starting 2 guard role? Like if Grayson starts on a championship team this year, which feels very far-fetched, but technically possible, then suddenly he's got a real shot. It looks like, I think Shemi is not on here. Shemi Ojale, but I guess same tier. Probably a tier lower. Maybe down here for him. Giannis, done deal. Do I need to justify this? Are there people who would think that 34, it sucks for Ray Allen. And honestly, here's a hotter take than Giannis has already done more than enough to have his jersey retired. I don't think they should put up anything about Ray Allen when they retire Giannis's jersey. Maybe somewhere else, but like on 34 in the rafters, don't take up any of Giannis's real estate. I love Ray Allen. Nothing against him. Again, make a Ring of Honor, make a Walk of Fame, put him in there by all means. Giannis deserves to have his own all alone solo jersey representation in the rafters. So let's be careful about that. But yeah, I think Giannis done. I mean, come on. Best player since Kareem. First one to win a championship since Kareem. The one who stayed so far, knock on wood. There's no indication he's leaving, but everything's been awesome. He built a culture in Milwaukee. He literally saved the franchise from moving, which is something not even Kareem did. I think he's the greatest player in franchise history. I think it's obvious. If he walked away from the game today to pursue a career in smoothies or soccer or whatever the hell else he wanted to do, it's retired. It's up there. It's done. Teague, no. Still in the wind. Still could come back. It's not happening. Sorry, Jeff Teague. You got an A on the group project. You'll be in a lot of the championship, like the longer form whole playoff run DVD and videos, like the Game 6 performance. You'll probably make it in those. Not getting the jersey retired. Wara, it's like a lot of like these the younger guys are often going to be on the same tier of like, okay, if you're a rotation player on a team that wins like 2 rings in the next 5, 6, 7 years, then maybe we'll have to see if you have a Pat Connaughton-esque playoff run where you come through more than people expect. Then maybe. I don't think it's happening. And this, to be clear, this doesn't. The Bucks being a dynasty is the starting point for this tier. I don't think all 5 of these players are getting their jerseys retired if the Bucks are somehow a dynasty. I think that would have to happen for it to even be a conversation. Drew is interesting. Let's just do that. We'll do Drew. We won't skip Drew yet. Oh, here, you know what? Sorry, Mamadi. And Elijah Bryant. The player formerly Sam Merrill in there too. I don't have Sandro or Yorgos down here. You got to prove you're an NBA rotation guy before you can get off of this tier in this video. Hopefully next year I can revisit. Wara would have been down here. Certainly. He bumped up a tier. He bumped up to, they only need to win like 2, 3 more titles for it to be even possible. These guys, you got to prove you could play. So imagine Sandro, Yorgos, Elijah Bryant, if he's still around, Mamadi, if he's still around, honestly. Bottom tier. Drew Holiday, though, how close is he? Pulled the Oscar Robertson, right? Came in, won a ring year 1. Was clearly a different, they don't win it without him. I mean, all the defensive plays he made. I was rewatching Game 7 against Brooklyn. Some of the offensive plays he made. It obviously wasn't consistent as a scorer, but great playmaker, outstanding defense. It's one of these two. I think probably this one. And this was true for Oscar as well. He didn't just win one and then leave. He was there for about 3-4 years. They had other really nice playoff runs with him on the roster. I think that's got to be the same for Drew. Play out the extension, and it's done, I think. But if he Eric Bledsoe'd his way out, which feels like the least possible scenario possible, like this year, then maybe it's not a done deal. But I think it's a done deal for Drew. But you know, play out the contract. This is the play out the contract. And Bud needs a new contract, but stick around, play out the contract. Chris is done. It's done. I mean, Chris and Giannis being alone in the top tier. Well, I mean, we'll get to Pat. We'll see. But so far, being alone in the top tier, I think is poetic. I think that they belong together up there. I mean, they rebuilt. I mean, Giannis gets all the credit. He's Giannis. He deserves all the credit. Chris was integral in rebuilding this Bucks team, building this culture. Chris is a huge culture setter. When he told Bobby to calm down in Game 6, like, Chris is huge. Drove Giannis to be better every day. Giannis said this multiple times. Chris is, none of this happens without Chris. I think that's very important to remember. Happy belated birthday. Chris just turned 30. A lot of good years left. Doesn't need any of them to get 22 up in the rafters. I think Chris, done deal. That thing should be in the rafters, no question. PJ Tucker. This one's hard. Again, he'd have to come back somehow. I mean, we've seen it with George Hill. It can happen. I think if he came back and played a similar role on another one that he did on the last one, I think it probably happens. I don't think that happens, but I do think, like, if somehow Miami dumps him and he's back next season and he's guarding KD and whoever else on the way to another title, and maybe he's a spot starter, maybe he's 6th, 7th man, regardless, I think it's happening at that point. Like, I think once you get there, okay, let's put it up there. Let's put it up there for a job well done. I don't think that's going to happen, but I do think he started on the team that beat Brooklyn and won the finals and beat Atlanta, of course. Like, I think his role is being relitigated in an ugly way since he's left. Oh, KD put up X, Y on him, whatever. I mean, KD did do that, but they got through Brooklyn because they had PJ. And I think if somehow he gets back and has another run where he's that integral, then it probably happens. But I think, unfortunately, based on the events of this summer, we probably are not going to get there. Pat Connaughton. This is a test. This is tough for me. I've said a lot of takes. There's probably folks who think I'm going to say done deal, not done deal. I don't know if that was ever my take. Maybe it was once, but not done deal. We're talking about these two. Does he just have to, if he's a Bucks lifer, is that good enough, or do they have to win a title? This is going to be controversial. I think it's going to I'm really torn. I had an idea of what I wanted to do with all of these beforehand, but I didn't have them all set in stone, so I didn't think that'd be good content if I just dragged and dropped a bunch of pictures. Ooh. I mean, I feel like this tier makes a lot of sense for Pat, but I'm going to put him up there. I think he plays out his career. Like, let's say Pat is a Bucks lifer. Obviously he played for Portland earlier, but like he plays until he's like 35. He's around. He's like a good 7th man for most of those years, 7th, 8th man. Wins some more playoff series. Is that enough? He's played 3 years already, I think. Yeah, I think he came the same year as Brook, the first Bud year. Is that enough? I'm trying to think if there's anyone. I guess Dante being that low and Pat being that high would seem off, but Pat played in the finals and was really good for most of the playoffs. And you know what? I feel good about it. You look back at Game 7 at Brooklyn, 6 guys could play. Giannis, Chris, Drew, Brook, PJ, who unfortunately only played half a year and is now gone, and Pat. Those were the only 6 guys that could play, and they won. And obviously, if they lose, none of the other stuff happens. I think that run alone has made it so play out the contracts, be good in a couple more playoff series. Even if they don't win another one, I think he's got a real shot. So we're looking at, if they don't win another title, 5 retired jerseys from the championship team. Is that unrealistic? Let's look. How many got retired from the first one? I think 4? 4? Hold on. Okay, here we go. Milwaukee Bucks retired numbers. Oscar, yes, so 1. Junior Bridgman, no. That was Kareem trade. Sidney, no. Marcus, no. Great teams. Bobby D, yes, so that's 2. Oscar and Bobby D. John McLaughlin, Bob Lanier, no. Brian Winters, no. Kareem, yes, so that's 4. So 4. They retired 4 numbers from the championship team. And a great team. Let's pull it up. So I'm trying, who would the Pat be? Honestly, you could make the case that the Pat is John McLaughlin, but obviously he was the first Buck and everything else, and I think better at his peak than Pat. But what did Johnny Mac do in the playoffs that year? Let's look at the finals. Kareem, Oscar, Bobby D, 10 points a game for Johnny Mac, and then Greg Smith, who unfortunately traded away. Greg Smith is a guy. I wonder if he plays longer in Milwaukee. Does he get it? He played 3.5 years. Like this is one where let's pretend this is Pat, and I think Greg Smith at his peak was probably better, probably. But let's pretend this is Pat and like put in all. Unfortunately, it looks like he got hurt, but like play 6 more years with the Bucks with these kind of numbers. Not that kind, but 7 to 9 points per game on some very good teams. If the core stays together, I mean that's the other thing with the Bucks is that core got blown up. In like 74, 75. But I don't know. How do I look at just playoff stats? Let's pull up playoff stats. Oh, here we go. So yeah, I mean Kareem, Baba. So this is obviously, your Giannis, Chris, Drew comps. And then the fourth guy. So that is Brook, really. Brook is the fourth guy. So that's done. So that's the 4. So basically it's like the Greg Smith, Lucius Allen kind of spot where I don't think Lucius Allen played that much longer for the Bucks. No, he only logged 4.5 seasons in Milwaukee. So yeah, it's like that'd be the difference, right? If Pat can play like 8 years with the Bucks and they continue to be good and there's no hard feelings around the end, then maybe it's possible. We'll see. But those are my takes. The Pat one, probably the most controversial. I mean, leave a comment below or tweet us at Ty Windish, at Eurostep Podcast, at Win in 6 Podcast, whoever on the network, all the other guys, Adam, Jordan, Rohan. Would love to hear the response to this. Is there a sneakily controversial one? Is Grayson Allen too high? Is it disrespectful for Grayson Allen and Dante Divincenzo to be on the same tier? I don't know. But I think the Pat one will draw the most ire. We'll see if folks maybe Bud. I don't know if everyone's all in on Bud still. But yeah, let me know. Sound off, comments below, Twitter, everywhere else. But thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribe. Because we want to keep doing more content like this. So, show some love and you'll get more video content. And let us know if you want to hear what the other guys' thoughts are on these tiers. And if you want a tier list video from the rest of GSPN. Maybe you want a better one. Maybe mine sucked. I guess we'll see. But thanks for watching, folks. Talk to you later. And go check out the pod feed. There's a new Win in 6 offseason recap and mailbag up. We've got a couple of great interviews coming network-wide. I won't spoil it. We already talked about Mirren Fader. I'll spoil that one. Mirren's coming back. Talk about the book in detail. That's going to be great. But can't spoil the rest right now. But some good interviews coming, some fun episodes. The content is coming. Bucks content all the time. So subscribe to the Eurostep Podcast Network on your platform of choice. I'm sure there'll be a link in the description. And subscribe to the channel. Thumbs up. You don't have to do the bell. Don't do the bell yet. We'll earn the bell, the notification bell. But otherwise, yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching.